Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everyone who is in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you. If you can hear me okay and everything looks and sounds good on the screen, please give me a thumbs up or radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or things look and sound bad, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who's in the building early, all right? Shout out to my man Carlton Way. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Miss Nisi. What's good with it, Miss Nisi? Shout out to Katsy. Shout out to Katsy for standing on business. All right, make sure y'all show Katsy some love for standing on business for 7 months. Definitely appreciate you. Let me get my stuff together. I threw this up real quick because I didn't even think I would have time to do this, so I don't have anything ready yet. Let me let's get it together for Katsy for standing on business for 7 months.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to my man Carlton Way. Hey, feeding the liquidity. That's what's good. You already know. Shout out to Pudgy Pigeons, right? Sporty Thieves. Pudgy Penguins. You know what I'm saying? About to be the first meme coin ETF out here. Make sure y'all show my man Carlton some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for my man Carlton for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. Hey, hey, don't get sent to the Sudan. Hey, what happened to that boy? Woo, what happened to that boy? He got sent to that alligator Alcatraz convoy. Woo. Shout out to my man Fomo Saki. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all show him some love for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
And shout out to my man AB for standing on business for 7 months. Definitely appreciate it. Make sure y'all show AB some love, throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for AB for standing on business for 7 months. Definitely appreciate you, bro.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to my man DSB. What's good with it, bro? Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to DSB for gifting the membership. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show DSB some love for standing on business and for growing the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Definitely appreciate you, bro. And shout out to my man DSB again for feeding the liquidity. Y'all already know where that liquidity about to go. Let them know. Let them know where that liquidity finna go.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Shout out to Cameron. What's good with it, bro? Appreciate you, DSB. All right, so we about to get into it, man. We about to get into it because I ain't got much time, but I'm going to try to make this the best bang for your buck that you get. All right, we got to talk about this birthright citizenship issue some more. All right, because it's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. All right, and as usual, I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy. All right, and the reason why I'm not happy is because if you ask me, at this current moment in history, when you have Trump being forced to admit to things that his party denies and has denied and made an entire business of denying in the past, this right here is the opportunity to put the pen into the piece of paper and post it onto the cork board and say, now that you've said this, it's time to deal with this. Because here is the question of the last 2 or 3 centuries, right? How does slavery affect anyone that's alive today? When is the last time that you heard anybody say that? When is the last time you heard anybody say that? Well, since the entire United States is becoming Karenized, right? And difficult times make strange bedfellows, I'm going to throw it on my back. I'm going to throw the question on my back. How does slavery affect anybody that's alive today? Oh, I'm going to tell you how. A Supreme Court injunction. That's how. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This is something that these people have never admitted to before. Now that they have admitted as a result of having to do that in order to push these injunctions through, now it's time for people to say, okay, well, this is how slavery affected people who are alive today. Now let's talk about the other people who slavery affected. But instead, that's not what you see. You got some people over here with the diaspora wars, with the cornball diaspora wars, right? And then you got other people, you know what I'm saying, sitting up here trying to fearmonger people and tell people that, you know what I'm saying, you're going back somewhere that you were never at in the beginning, when none of those arguments mean anything. And if people were still on their square, they'd be taking this argument and saying, okay, you said it. Now it's time to run this information back and start doing the ancestry tracing and start dealing with how slavery affects people who are alive today. Slavery definitely affected the Supreme Court, right? Slavery affected, quote unquote, Trump's opinion on the Supreme Court, right? And now what's going on is in the United Karenization of America, you got a bunch of people who denied all of these things from before, right? They denied all of these things from before, and people aren't even seeing that the 14th Amendment is the biggest DEI initiative ever. It's the biggest DEI initiative ever. How? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? We didn't have diversity, equity, and inclusion before pre-Civil War. 14th Amendment provided diversity and inclusion, right, of people who were slaves, people who were chattel slaves, right? But it didn't provide equity. Now, it gave the D and the I, but it didn't give the E. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. So I find it ironic that in order to do these mass deportations, OG DEI, ancient DEI, has to be used by the people who are, quote unquote, anti-DEI to deal with this particular situation. Another ironic thing about it is that the people who need this argument in order to push what they want to push through are not taking that opportunity. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. I appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all throw some like enforcers in the chat for Brooklyn Queen, and please do exactly what she's saying. Shout out to my man PD that remains. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Sybil. Good to see all of y'all. All right. So now that I got that out the way, we got to deal with another thing. We got to take a look at the defiant lawyers, right? How many people know who the defiant lawyers are? If you know who the defiant lawyers are, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. The defiant lawyers recently posted a video, and in this video, they make the attempt to make the claim that Black Americans can be deported with these new Supreme Court injunctions. I am so disappointed. I am so disappointed. Now, you know, it's the difference between a roast battle, right? And, you know, a clash of ideas, right? So, you know, I by no means am going into this to roast these people, the defiant lawyers, right? I'm going into this as civil as I possibly can in order to test my points against theirs. Okay. Now, you know what y'all gonna do what y'all do in the chat, right? Y'all gonna do what y'all do in the chat. But from my standpoint, I want to test my position on this against theirs. All right. How many people saw this video? You see what this says right here? Don't be misled. Trump can deport Black Americans. Seriously? Come on, man. You're a lawyer. As a lawyer, with the Republican Party being led by Trump and them copping to the history of the United States, You should be using your legal expertise to put heavy pressure on the reparations argument, not fear-mongering with the Democrats, man. Shout out to my man DeAndre. What's good with it, bro? Make sure y'all show DeAndre some love, like and force, and do exactly what he said. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I don't understand. I don't understand, and I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Let's get it.
Where it used birthright citizenship, used that issue to basically prohibit judges, federal judges, lower court judges, from issuing universal or nationwide injunctions. A question has arisen that I want to address in this video. And that question is whether or not Trump can deport Black Americans.
First and foremost, I got to ask this, man. I got to ask this question. Why can I please ask this question, man? Why is this even a question? Who can I ask the question? Why with any political issue do people who are out in the front always take a position of weakness? Why? Can anybody answer that for me, please? The first thing that's got to be asked is if there can be some type of victimization. How about if there can be some type of exploitation? Let's exploit these conversations. Nah, let's go hide under a rock. The first thing I need to know is how somebody can beat me up in the situation and what I can do about it. Man, come on, bro. Come on, man. Now, I want to ask you guys this question. If the 14th Amendment was originally put on the books to address the situation of the Emancipation Proclamation, my question is, how can the law possibly be twisted at the very least against those people? Now, let me ask you guys this question. In the entire history of the United States, how many freeman / descendant of slave, quote unquote, deportations have you witnessed ever in the history of this country? How many? Let me know in the chat. Shout out to everybody watching. If you guys haven't smashed that like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you haven't, give me a thumbs up on the thumbs up. Now, this dude is a lawyer, so you know that many court cases and many court rulings occur as a result of precedent, right? So here's my question. Under any test of the law, when has there ever been a quote unquote Black American deportation? And under what basis? So again, my question would be, why is this a question? And again, shout out to Carlton. Shout out to my man DJ Elmo. What's good with it, bro? Coward culture, reflex victimization. Reflex victimization. I mean, this is the fact that this is even a question is appalling to me. But let's continue.
African Americans, especially those.
Now, African Americans, if your paperwork's not right, yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you're a freeman or a descendant of slaves or FBA, whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? No, this doesn't apply to you. This whole law is how slavery affects people who are alive today, right? This whole law is how slavery affects people who are alive today. Now, mind you, it's Trump's people who always say how does slavery affect anybody that's alive today, and you got the king of how does slavery affect anybody alive today babbling about slavery to be able to justify what he's doing with ICE. And at the same time, because people are Arctic glazing Trump, everybody's letting them slide on that. Everybody's letting them slide on that. Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, what about the FBA's ancestry who goes back to Europe? I'm just saying. Facts. Facts. On any avenue when it comes to dealing with Black Americans, it would be extremely difficult to apply this law. For one, there's the issue with the European ancestry that people don't talk about, which would, kind of put us in a category legally of people who owned plantations if you can trace your blood back, like the Thomas Jefferson descendants, right? And then there's the issue of being born of chattel slavery. And then there's the issue of the people who were freemen who were free already. Like the guy that they like to talk about all the time. I forgot what his name is. The one guy that owned the slaves. I can't think of his name. The only slave owner that Thomas Sowell knows about. So he makes 5 million videos about him all the time. I can't think of his name. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about him too in Dirty Little Secrets. So it would be extremely difficult. There's no enforcement, no record, not even a basis under any USCIS situation to where this could even occur. And as a lawyer, this guy is a lawyer. He knows this. Let's continue.
And that question is whether or not Trump can deport Black Americans, African Americans, especially those whose ancestors were enslaved in this country.
Black Americans and African Americans are not the same. It's not the same classification. So here we go. And this is, again, when people attempt to do this type of intellectual gymnastics, I want people to understand, this is the Democrats talking to you like you're dumb. No one ever doesn't understand the difference between other groups of immigrants who come to the United States versus people of that race or ethnicity who are American citizens. But when it comes to quote unquote Black Americans, there's all this confusion. There's no confusion. This guy's not confused. You know what I'm saying? A Black American is not the same ethnically as an African American. And that's no disrespect to Africans. It's no disrespect. It's no disrespect. The same way a person from Nigeria is not the same as a person from Kenya, a person from somewhere else in the diaspora is not the same as a Black American. It's no disrespect. Please don't take that as disrespect. These are our ethnic circumstances here in the United States. In the United States, things are a bit different for freemen and descendants of slavery. Black not only encompasses our race, but it also encompasses the ethnicity as well. It's different. And this guy is playing games. This guy is playing games. And I got to put it out there. People made him great. People made him great. 200,000-300,000 subscribers, able to get his message out to a bunch of people, able to scare a bunch of people. Undocumented got less than 1,000 subs. And undocumented is accurate. Undocumented will take you to the paint. You know what I'm saying?
What many people call foundational Black Americans. And the answer is yes. He certainly can. This case.
First and foremost, there's again, where is the legal precedent that would back that court action up? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. What's good with it, bro? Where's the court? Where's the precedent that would back that action up? Citizen clause of the 14th Amendment. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Now, here's my question. At first, the quote-unquote native indigenous people of the United States, when the European immigrants took the United States over right? They didn't deport them anywhere, and they weren't considered citizens of the quote-unquote 13 colonies or the Union or the Confederacy, right? Let me ask you guys this question. Where did the mass deportation of Native Indigenous Americans end destination to? Where did they deport them to? They didn't deport them. Now, they dealt with them in a particular way. They created reservations and put those people on those reservations, but they didn't extract them from the United States. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. So, again, my question is, what backs that up? Shout out to Jay. What's good with it, Jay? What backs this claim up? Where is the court follow-through where someone could substantiate what he's saying and say, here's an example of the court interpreting this law like this? There is none. There is none.
It's made it much easier. This case gave Trump the tool to do just that. Despite him saying, I heard him say it with my own ears recently, the day after the case came down, or maybe even the same day, that the 14th Amendment was added for the babies of slaves.
So right there, he kind of just contradicted himself, right? If you guys would agree, he kind of just contradicted himself. Give me a thumbs up. If he didn't contradict himself, then give me a thumbs down. He contradicted himself right there.
Yes, he certainly can.
So here's my question. Shout out to Jesse. What's good with it? We know that there's a large concentration of Black Americans in prison and jails all throughout the United States. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, if that's the case, Trump could put the people from those jails right onto the same planes that he's sending people down there to El Salvador with Bukele and send them there. Send them to Alligator Alcatraz, right? But instead, what's happening is they're going in those jails, places in New York City, Rikers Island, not taking Black Americans, but taking illegal migrants. If Trump can do this under the law, then that means that he can and will do it to anybody. It hasn't happened yet. Now, again, he's going to make the argument Black people think that Trump is for them because of this. I'm not saying, I've never said that Black people think that Trump is for them. And I've always told people, don't think that Trump is for you because he's not. But regardless of whether somebody's for you or not, that's not the issue. The issue is the examination of the facts. And the examination of the facts is that there is no current action right now to justify this argument that he's making. Not one. This is all hypothetical. And it's not even hypothetical based in sound fact or analysis of reality. If Trump wanted to clear out the jails, he wouldn't just clear out the undocumented. He would clear out people doing life. He would clear out violent felons, of which who are Black American. Right? And then he's going to send them to where? What? Again, I want you guys to understand, this is who people choose to make people like this great. 200,000 subs. I can get this fear-mongering message out to anybody. Immediately when a situation occurs, the idea is to take the position of weakness. The position that should be taken is in the Supreme Court, you guys just justified something that you've been denying and sweeping under the rug forever. Now it's time to advance the conversation in regards to your admission of this. How are we going to get them checks out? But everybody already checked out before talking about getting the checks out. You know what I'm saying?
The question is whether or not Trump can deport Black Americans, African Americans, especially those whose ancestors were enslaved in this country, what many people call foundational Black Americans. And the answer is yes.
I can't wait to hear how. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show Black Free Thinker some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said the only precedent that can even be cited is Trump's alleged proclivity for treating the U.S. Constitution. However, and even that's a reach. Facts. If you guys agree with Black Free Thinker, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Make sure y'all show Black Free Thinker some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, some ducks in the chat for Black Free Thinker for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
So let's listen further.
He certainly can. This case made it much easier. This case gave Trump the tool to do just that. Despite him saying, I heard him say it with my own ears recently, the day after the case came down, or maybe even the same day, that the 14th Amendment was added for the babies of slaves. Well, that is true. However, the citizen...
And it wasn't just added for the quote-unquote babies of slaves, right? It was also added for former slaves. Former slaves. Actually, it wasn't even he says it was added for the baby of slaves. That's not technically a true statement. It was born for the babies of freed slaves. Right? Because all of this happened after the Civil War. Okay?
Clause of the 14th Amendment does not apply just to the descendants of enslaved people. That is not the way it is written. It actually says all persons. So it's not written that way. It's not interpreted that way, and it's not applied that way. All right, so keep that in mind.
So where has it been applied to remove Black Americans? Right? That's fine and that's fair. Where has the application of this law been used in the way that he's describing? Can anybody show me that? Can anybody find a piece of evidence or a piece of data that supports that?
It's really important. And I believe Trump is saying that so that he can divide the Black and brown community, to say this is...
So Trump can... Let me ask you guys this. When the brown community goes to prison and they link up with the Aryan Brotherhood, what did Trump have to do with that? Shout out to Solo T. What's good with it, bro? The Black... When they decided to create a city in Mexico called Matamoros, what did Trump have to do with that? In Brazil, when they recruited former Confederates and plantation owners because chattel slavery was still a legal thing in Brazil, and they have the Americana celebration, what did Trump have to do with that? I would go as far as to say Spain is one of the first progenitors of a race-based caste system, right? I would say they kind of made their bed as far as that goes centuries ago. So you can't divide something that's not unified. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. I mean, if you ask me, when people start talking about La Raza, I mean, what does that have to do with Trump? I don't think Trump encouraged anybody to, start screaming La Raza. If you listen to old school West Coast rap music, a lot of Latino artists been talking about La Raza since Cypress Hill. Before that, what did Trump have to do with La Raza? So I would say that dividing lines and all of that, whatever, have already been around. So I don't know what are we talking about here? What is he? This is epic delusion. If you guys would agree, this is epic level delusion. Give me a thumbs up. If you would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Exactly. I couldn't think of the guy's name, but that's exactly who I had on my mind. Shout out to Jesse. Kid Frost. Facts. Old school Mexican rapper. So, What does he talk? This is somebody living in delusion.
It's not, birthright citizenship is not for you. Basically, it's for blacks. And you're trying to take something in, you're trying to take something from them. I think that isn't.
I mean, I disagree with the quote unquote take something from argument. And the reason why is because this amendment, the 14th Amendment, is outdated, if you ask me. And at this point in American history, the 14th Amendment doesn't service freemen anymore. So I don't think that this is necessarily quote unquote taking something from black people. I think that this is a grandfather clause that is now being inefficiently extended to people who aren't part of the grandfather situation. I wouldn't say quote unquote taking from something, but people are so inarticulate and have no idea how to voice what they're talking about. People always say that hey, taking something from me. I don't. This is time stamped and you can't go retroactive on it. So it can't. They can't take anything, but it's just a lingering benefit that is outdated that needs to be ixnayed. If you ask me, if you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Intended to pit us against each other.
I would say, teaming up with the Aryan Brotherhood and, banging for La Raza, I would say those are the start of things that would, quote unquote, pit people against each other. I would say, look at L.A. What did Trump have to do with L.A. and the redistribution of population in California? Trump didn't have nothing to do with that. So these are things that were already happening, and Trump don't have anything to do with any of that. This is stuff that has happened over time. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show Black Free Thinker some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Black Free Thinker for funding the organization and standing on business for 9 months. Definitely appreciate you, bro.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Definitely appreciate you, bro. So, yeah. So his biggest thing is this could, quote unquote, cause disruption, quote unquote, between black and brown unity. I would say the reparations conversation causes disruption between the black and brown community. Is that why you never talk about it, Your Honor? Is that why you never talk about it, Counselor?
I also think that he's saying that to deceive blacks into believing that he is for us, when clearly he is not.
I don't think anybody thinks that Trump is for black people. There might be some, I shouldn't say that. There are some people that do think that, right? But I don't think a lot of people think that. Regardless whether Trump is, quote unquote, for us or not. See, this is the problem with emotionalism. In order for a conversation to take place, somebody always got to be, quote unquote, when someone is talking about it, they got to frame the argument in terms of, quote unquote, doing something, quote unquote, for us. No one is going to do anything for us except for us. No one likes us except for us. Some of us don't even like us. Somebody could say whatever they want to about me for making that comment, but I would implore you to go talk to the YouTube content creators who put their dirty underwear on a clothesline every day for people to see. That's who I would tell you to talk to. I would tell you to get up on my face with that nonsense. If you don't like the fact that I said it, go deal with the people that's doing it, because it ain't me. Right? So I don't think that anyone is under the impression that Trump is, quote unquote, for us. I invest in a lot of companies. Guess what? None of those companies are for me. BlackRock doesn't exist to make me rich, but I can benefit from what they're doing. Satoshi Nakamoto didn't make Bitcoin to make me financially free, but the white paper makes sense. So I partake. Something doesn't have to be directly for you for it to make sense. but he's playing on scripted old school arguments in ways that this democratic culture has warped people's minds into analog thinking for so long. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said, yo, compliant lawyers. I'd say that the Mex turning East LA into arguably the largest sundown town in the United States has divided black and brown. I would not disagree with that at all. If you guys agree with Black Free Thinker, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And make sure y'all show Black Free Thinker some love for feeding that liquidity, funding the organization. Definitely appreciate you, bro.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Now, again, right? You know, I don't have the most popular channel on YouTube, right? I know I'm kind of intense, right? But, you know, I had to take a look at that stream that I did the other day, and I said, Joe, man, you know what I'm saying? You murked that argument. There's no way anybody could come and put any holes in that argument that I provided about birthright citizenship the other day. And in that argument about birthright citizenship the other day, I also went in on Trump and was like, this dude don't care about you. He's manipulating you. So watch how you dive head first into this thing, right? Here you see the other side of the manipulation. Hey, hey. Shout out to Cassie. Hey, shout out to Cassie. Spoken like a true member. Right? Maybe not, but you are the best channel. Hey, if y'all agree with Cassie, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, mods, get them out of here.
For us. All right? But let's get back to nationwide injunctions, because when the U.S. Supreme Court got rid of nationwide injunctions,
shout out to Win, Lose, or Rub. What's good with it, bro?
Free reign to do just about anything he wants to do, including deporting American citizens.
Now, shout out to Win, Lose, or Rug, because Win, Lose, or Rug put a screenshot of a tweet into the Discord, and shout out to the people that's not part of the Discord. Y'all missing out. You better hit that link and join the Discord. Before talk about any deportation of any Black American, Trump is talking about deporting Elon Musk. Why? Because Elon Musk is deportable. Elon Musk is deportable. So again, where's the precedent of the argument that this guy is making? Let's continue. And shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all have not smashed that like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media.
Not just Black Americans. And the basic reason why is because no judge can stop him. Not with respect to the entire country. A judge can stop someone who files lawsuit against Trump. But think about it. If Trump snatch up, say, 100 African Americans and deport them to Sudan or Libya or Nicaragua or El Salvador or wherever, those people are gone.
How would he do it? When has he done it? What supports the fact that he would even do it? Facts. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, I use Trump as a tool to make money. And you know what they say about them black light boys? Black light always breaks his tools. Facts. Right? You know what they say about them black light boys? Black light always breaks their tools. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
They're out of the country. They're God knows wherever. And so let's say one of their family members file a lawsuit on their behalf. And let's say they successfully get an injunction from the judge. Well, it used to be, before this case, that the judge could say, basically, you got to return all 100 of these African Americans because you unlawfully deported them.
Where is the precedence of this occurring? Where is a motive even coming from? Where is the discussion of this even being had? Again, this is hypothetical and whataboutism and nothing based in facts. Now, as far as his discussion about the quote-unquote nationwide injunctions, that part is true. But the mental gymnastics being used to talk about that and then apply it to a situation that hasn't occurred without precedence, he knows that he wouldn't win a debate with this. This kind of discussion, he didn't use this kind of logic in any coursework that he did for his Juris Doctorate. Not any of it. Okay.
But now, with this case, the judge could only say you got to bring that one person back. And the other 99, although it's unlawful, he cannot prohibit that unless they do a class action lawsuit. And people class action.
Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention also to his argument. He never stated a basis on which Trump would just, quote unquote, snatch up these, quote unquote, hypothetical Black Americans. He never made a statement about it. Let me remember when ASAP Rocky was overseas. If that was Trump's agenda to just get Black Americans up out of here, he could have definitely made an example with ASAP Rocky. You know what I'm saying? You want to act up and make America look bad? Well, let the country that took you in deal with you. He didn't do that, though. Again, no one's saying that that's equivalent for being for us. I'm just stating the fact that he didn't do that. So it's not consistent with the accusation. This idea of, quote unquote, people being for us, people take this idea of, quote unquote, being for us, and people think that an ATM machine or a favor machine is just supposed to turn on and just spit out anything that everybody wants at all times. That's not how it works. Things only work based on facts, based on data, and based on application of pattern. And there's not a pattern of that. There's not a pattern of that. Where is the pattern that shows that? And where is the pattern of the Supreme Court facilitating situations like that? Let me know. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because we got more to go through. And I'm already running out of time.
Lawsuits can take months, if not years, to get certified. So those other 99 African-American people.
Now, I want to ask you guys this in advance real quick, all right? Because, like I said, I'm running out of time a little bit. If you guys want a part 2 to this, if I'm not able to finish it, put the number 2 in the chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Leave the number 2 in the comments. If y'all don't, then give me a thumbs down or a clown face. And I'm telling you, it's worth it.
Could be over there lingering rotten in some jail or whatever, while their cases matriculates through the court system. It's almost like saying you can't kill that man after you didn't shot him. Listen, this court case essentially said to judges, you cannot issue nationwide
Shout out to Intuitively Wise. What's good with it?
injunctions, except for certified class action lawsuits, even if what he is doing is unlawful. So if you phrase the question this way, can Trump law?
Look at these AI images. Look at these AI images. Come on, man. Like I come on, man.
Hopefully deport African Americans? The answer is clearly no. But that's not the question. The question is, can he deport African Americans even if it's unlawful? The answer to that question is yes. Because
well, the answer to any question is, can anybody do anything unlawful? And anybody could do anything unlawful. Anybody could do anything unlawful. Anybody could do anything criminal. Are there punishments and consequences for doing criminal actions? Yes. Shout out to Shatira. What's good with it, Shatira? I can't with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be. This makes me angry. And then, you know, another thing that makes me angry? Low quality artificial intelligence makes me angry. It's disrespectful to AI. It's disrespectful to the future, because you guys know AI is the future human race. Deal with it, right? And this is disrespectful to artificial intelligence. Don't be doing AI like that with this nonsense. You got the black ICE agent right here combined with the white ICE agent, the black ICE agent got white hands. Like, come on, man. Get your artificial intelligence game up.
There's nobody to stop them anymore. All right, I want that to be clear. This is not just about immigrants. This is not just about Latinos. This case went far beyond immigration.
If it's not, again, nationwide deportations happening all the time. As much as Fox News talks about Chicago, how many black people who are problematic or not problematic in Chicago have been deported? They're walking right. Excuse me, Vice Lord. Excuse me, Mr. Gangster Disciple. Have you seen any Tren de Aragua members? That's what's going on. There's no pattern of this. shout out to AB. I know, right? Your AI called Mace. Your AI called Mace Mahi. What your AI was telling you is that's a Mace's real name. Like, the argument is terrible.
I hope I'm making this clear.
No, you're not.
This is not just about immigrants. This is not just about
who other than immigrants are being deported by ICE. Who? Listen, it's so tight. Listen, ICE is deporting immigrants based on records coming from immigration courts, which is why they're arresting these people in many cases at court, because they're coming to hearings about being here undocumented, and then they get set up and arrested by ICE. What black person is going to a federal court about their legality being here to get set up in an ICE sting? Where is this happening at? Shout out to Carlton Way. Carlton Way said, I've never seen a black ICE agent, but I do see black people cheering on ICE agents. Bro, facts. I don't mess with no law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? At all. I don't mess with the police, and I don't mess with the pole ICE, and I don't mess with ICE, right? But if you are interested in seeing a black ICE agent, shout out to Dr. Rashad Ritchie. He found a video of a migrant calling a black ICE agent the N-word. Because now you know Dr. Rashad Ritchie was going to find a way to put it in a position of weakness. Right?
Latino immigrants. This case went far beyond immigration. It basically, at this point, jeopardizes all of our rights.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this question. What right of yours is threatened currently as a result of these nationwide injunctions? That's my question. Somebody let me know. Shout out to Shatera. Shatera says not one. Facts. If you guys agree with Shatera, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Like this is wild, man. Somebody get their granddad.
All of them. Now, I'm going to take you to the case, and I'm going to show you that. So Amy Coney Barrett, Justice Barrett, wrote the case for the majority, and she said that judges could no longer issue nationwide injunctions, even if what Trump is doing is unlawful.
Shout out to Tarek. What's good with it, bro? I appreciate you. Make sure y'all show Tarek some love. We got 23 likes like Michael Jordan. That's what's good. Hit that like button, y'all. If y'all haven't shared the video, make sure y'all take a moment, share the video. All right. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the bell twice. Like, this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous.
You may say, wow.
Like, this is Omega level gaslighting. This is beyond Omega level gaslighting. This is Gamma level gaslighting.
Yes, really. Let me show you. Because it jeopardizes all of our rights. So the very first thing, now I went over this in the video that I did a day or so ago about this very same thing. But this one, I'm talking specifically to African Americans, whether we can be deported or any other American for that matter. So at the very top, just
if the enforcement agency doing the deportations is United States Customs and Immigration Services, the Department of Homeland Security, Under what law would you get deported if you're not an immigrant or have come through customs? This is basic. This is basic. Shout out to Shatera. Shatera said, what Americans are getting picked up by ICE? The ones that put in an application to work there. They getting picked up by the trucks and then they go and do raids. That's the only Americans getting picked up by ICE. The ones that put in job applications, then the truck come pick them up and they put on masks and go get the people that ain't supposed to be here. That's the only Americans getting picked up by ICE is the employees. Shout out to TD. TD said, oh, you did the live behind my back. You ain't even bothered to hit me up. You knew I wasn't going to do the stream anyway. Facts. Shout out to TD. Hey, make sure y'all show TD some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat from my man TD Media Group. TD gonna have to flame this dude, man. Your channel bigger than mine, bro. You got to go to war on this dude. He trying to get your big homie Trump about the paint. He trying to get the big homie Trump about the orange paint, bro. You better get him. He coming at your head like Jadakiss.
Barrett says the applications do not raise and thus we do not address. Now, what applications are she talking about? Well, when the three judges issued those nationwide injunctions, the Trump administration filed applications for a stay. The word stay means stop. So they filed applications with SCOTUS. They were asking SCOTUS to stop the injunctions from stopping them from doing what they wanted to do, which was redefine birthright citizenship. All right, and the appellate court agreed with the lower court, but when it got
birthright citizenship has already been redefined, which is why we have the issue that we have right now. What Trump did was restate the original intended purpose. The only mass immigration that was going on at the time in the United States when the 14th Amendment was created was the white immigrants who were slave owners. The 14th Amendment wasn't addressed to any immigrants. Shout out to MC Fact. Shout out to Lunch. What's good with it? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down.
At the SCOTUS agreed with the Trump administration and granted their applications, basically stopping the nationwide injunctions and also saying to the judges, don't issue anymore unless they are pursuant to class action lawsuits or to the one person or several people who are directly in a lawsuit, but don't apply that to everybody else. So since it applies only to the people named in the lawsuit, the rest of what Trump does by his executive order to the other people, he can get away with it, whether it's lawful or not, whether it's constitutional or not constitutional.
How? So they're saying that he can get away with it. I haven't seen Trump get away with things. I've seen Trump do things and immediately there's massive amounts of lawsuits filed against the Trump administration. The legal chain of command is still in place, right? Second, where have we seen Trump show evidence of an agenda like this in regards to Black people? There's no evidence of him doing anything like that. Again, this is whataboutism. This is what ifs. This is genetic weakness position assuming. Yeah, shout out to Shatera. Now, the conservatives like TD, right, would call that, quote unquote, Trump derangement syndrome, right? I call it, shout out to my man Kiko. What's good with you, bro? I say the same thing about people that got an issue with crypto, right? I call it Bitcoin derangement syndrome. Shout out to Lunch. What's good with you, bro? So, yeah, it's just, there's some people that's just going to automatically lose their minds, right? And then the question remains, do they have one to begin with? Right? Because you can't lose something that you don't have. You know what I'm saying? So there's that, right? Shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre says the 14th is not even worded in a way that suggests that it is for immigrants. Not only is it not suggested in a way, not written in a way where it suggests that it's for immigrants, these people are not immigrants who are the topic of discussion. these are undocumented illegal border crossers as well, right? Immigrants, although this amendment was not created to service immigrants who become citizens are citizens, right? This is for people who come here, have a baby, and then use the baby to quote unquote stay in the United States. That's why they call it quote unquote anchoring. Because they use that baby as a means to quote unquote stay in place, i.e. anchor. Okay. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on, bro. Shout out to Tarek. Tarek says, so what the heck is this guy trying to say? Is he using the whole we next trope? Yeah, he using the we next trope without any evidence to support it. Shout out to Intuitively Wise. Intuitively Wise said, I think the Supreme Court didn't take up the law on birthright. Was the law what? I think the Supreme Court didn't take up the law on birthright. Was the law states what Trump is saying? Do me a favor, Intuitively Wise. Explain that a little bit more, bro. Shout out to Leonard. What's good with you, bro? Shout out to Shatira. Shatira said, you have no idea how many times I've said that just to relax my foot. Yeah, I do. Shatira, you be forgetting. It's been how long I've known you now? Like damn near 10 years. I know exactly what your ass. I know exactly what your ass be saying, and I'm sure you've said that many times. You know what I'm saying? I know you've said it many times. The question is, do people be listening? Do they get it? I don't know if they get it. I don't know if they get it. There's what's going why would he do that to you? Like I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like I never understand those things. Well, what is it? What they're gonna do it to us? Like this, why do people just think like all of a sudden, first and foremost, that somebody gonna try to quote unquote do something to us? And then second of all, why is it never this is how we're gonna deal with this if this person ever tries to do that? I'm not trying to be funny, man, but like, you know, honestly, like Trump and his family is more vulnerable to his changes in the law than any Black American would be, just on the basis of how the law is constructed. Shout out to Shatira. Shatira said, well, I want everybody to stop coming over here dropping babies too. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a united brothel of America. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Leonard. Leonard said, but they work hard. They work hard, you know what I'm saying, hiking through that Darien Gap. Now, I will give you that, right? I will give you that. A lot of undocumented people have worked 10 times harder than any Black American ever will hiking through the Darien Gap. I'll be the first one to tell you, you know what I'm saying, they'll beat me going through there because I'm already tell you I ain't going through there. But if you're willing to do that, I'll give you that. You definitely hiking harder than me. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, as far as trying to get into the country, I don't know, man. I might actually have them beat. It's been plenty of times they said you can't get into the club. You know what I'm saying? You got this jersey on. You got your hat a certain kind of way. You got some, you know, some Jordans on or something like that. And I, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I switch it up a couple times to try to get in. And then eventually I'll get in. You know, they do the same thing. They get kicked out and they come back in. But I'm not going to sit there and say you work harder than me because I work just as hard as you. And I'm trying to get into a place where I should be allowed to get into. And I have to show ID at the door. And I got to show ID to buy a drink. You try to get in and not even showing ID. And now the bouncers is bouncing you back. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to say.
To show. All right. So here we go. She says the application do not raise and thus we do not address the question whether the executive order violates the Citizenship Clause or Nationality Act. The issue before us is one of remedy. The remedy is.
Shout out to Intuitively Wise. Intuitively Wise says the law for immigrants says in order to be a citizen, parents have to have citizenship through one parent or to file naturalization and pay fees. Yeah, that's true. And that's why I said, even Trump's changes on this, it still provides a pathway for undocumented people, mainly undocumented women, to be able to they'll be able to anchor themselves in the baby, right? So people really shouldn't cheer this on all like that. And for two, they shouldn't cheer it on because there's no direct benefit that we getting out of it, right? But the benefit that can be exploited out of it is now they're substantiating the fact that slavery does affect people who are alive today. So that argument can't be used. And now it's time to put the bullseye on, getting them checks out. Right. But that's not what you see happening. And that's where the disappointment for me comes in.
Getting the application granted doesn't have anything to do with constitutionality of the executive order that Trump issued. And that is whether under.
Hey, Shatera crazy. Shatera said having babies and free food stamps and WIC. That's for Americans. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's for the trailer parks and the Metropolitan Housing Authority. You know what I'm saying? That's for the American ratchets. You know what I'm saying? That's for the American ratchets. Undocumented ratchets, y'all got to do something else. That's why they walking up and down the strip. You know what I'm saying? Over there in Manhattan, walking up and down the strip over there in LA. You know what I'm saying? They doing something strange for some change. You know what I'm saying? American ratchet, you could just get banged for some change.
The Judiciary Act of 1789, which creates federal courts, have equitable authority to issue universal injunctions. And I already told you they answered the question in the negative. No, they do not have that power going forward. Now, Justice Sotomayor, she wrote the dissent, and she called it gamesmanship that the Trump administration did not include whether the executive order was constitutional. She said that was gamesmanship. In other words, they played game, because what they really wanted was just to get the court to say that the lower judges can no longer issue universal injunctions. That's what they were trying to get, because that's what's holding up Trump's agenda, his Project 2025 agenda, his anti-black agenda, his anti-civil rights agenda.
Now you see how you had to throw again. It's the reversion, right? It's what they always do. If you didn't understand it, now I'm going to reiterate anti-black, anti-civil rights, anti-black agenda. Did you not get it? Okay, I said all this legal jargon. Now let me put the icing on the cake. That's when you get the MK Ultra, the MK Ultra civil rights crash outs. You see Brandon Johnson do it all the time. Shout out to my man Extreme X. What's good with it, bro? You see Brandon Johnson do it all the time. Somebody ain't listening, they not getting it. Brandon Johnson will just throw something out there, which I got a black wife and black kids. What that got to do with $1 billion budget in Chicago, you pencil-headed idiot? What that got to do with the fact that you done ran the budget up to $1 billion, spending $212 million on favorite healthcare, and the migrants still coming through there with diseases, getting people all sick. They had a damn plague running through them shelters in Chicago. When pressed, Chi-Town, Brandon Johnson, black, white, black kids. Like, man, go on somewhere. They do this all the time. They do it to tap into that victim MK Ultra that people got to shake. The boogeyman under the bed. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm going to get you to act right. If you don't do what I tell you to, and I can't get you to by presenting you with facts, I'm going to tell you the boogeyman under the bed. Now do what I told you to do. And people still be falling for that. Shout out to New York State of Mind. What's good with you, bro? People still be falling for that. People got to become fearless. And the reason why people got to become fearless is because fear is the language of communication that a lot of these clowns use. So if you're somebody that's scared, if you're somebody that's a sucker, all they're going to do is try to punk you. And him, the Democrats, and everybody else, all they try to do is punk you. They treating you like you Red and Debo coming. Like none of this is even, there is nothing that this video content here can can be compared to, where any of what he's talking about is being applied specifically to African Americans, as he says, Black Americans, as I say. African Americans, quote unquote, can be immigrants. Black Americans cannot be immigrants. Freemen, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans cannot be immigrants. Immigration is being facilitated through a constitutional amendment that was created to deal with situations of people who were not immigrants. It doesn't even make any sense. And again, if my argument is incorrect or if I'm inaccurate, please address it, right?
That's what was holding it up. And she says, yet shamefully, this court plays along. The majority of this court decides that these applications of all cases provide the appropriate occasion to resolve the question of universal injunction. And she goes on. Now, if we jump down to the next paragraph, she goes on to say, and this is what I want you to hear very carefully, no right is safe.
Okay, so just because a Democrat said that no right is safe to Trump, that somehow translates to Black Americans about to get deported all over the place. So if this was such an issue and such a danger for Black Americans, why didn't Sotomayor or Ketanji Brown Jackson or even Clarence Thomas, anybody who's Black in the Supreme Court, why didn't they address that specifically? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't they address that specifically? Shout out to my man Kiko. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show Kiko some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Kiko for funding the organization and standing on business for 4 months. I definitely appreciate you, bro.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Does that make any sense? And this is what I'm saying. My question is, like, why this dude has so many subscribers that he's getting this nonsense out to so many people? I mean, if you ask me, that to me just tells me the state of things. That tells me the state of things. It's easier to be scared than it is to not worry about taking a couple bruises. I can't respect that.
In the new legal regime the court creates, no right is safe. So we can say as African Americans, we have the right not to be deported because we are citizens. We have birthright citizenship. All right. And it is true. Let me say this. I want to make sure you understand that birthright citizenship was added to the Constitution because of our enslaved ancestors. That's true. Where Trump is wrong is it doesn't just apply to us. Just like equal protection.
How does it not just apply to us if it was made to deal with our circumstance here in the United States? How is that possible? Right, yeah, facts. Shout out to AB. AB said, I wonder if he can put a date on when and who the FBA immigrants and who are the FBA immigrants. I need a documentation. Well, if you have documentation, none of this affects you because this affects the quote unquote undocumented. Shout out to the channel, right? Shout out to the channel, right?
No right is safe. So we can say as African Americans, we have the right not to be deported because we are citizens. We have birthright citizenship.
He just destroyed his own argument. I wonder what be going on when they be going into the court. I mean, he just what? He just aggressively destroyed his own argument. I didn't even catch that part right there. Hey, who's hungry? If you hungry, throw some cats and dogs in the chat. Shout out to Miss Nisi. I appreciate you as always, Miss Nisi. Miss Nisi said it's time for a snack. Man, make sure y'all show Miss Nisi some love for funding your stomach.
Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dog.
Don't push me, ain't Donald Trump trying to grab him by the... Said it was some Haitians, somewhere out in Springfield. Women doing cartwheels.
Have you seen Garfield?
Eat the cat.
Have you seen Snowball? This about to snowball. I'm about to go off. I can't let this go on. Miss me like an airball. Tell me when my cat is cough it up like a hairball.
Eat the cat.
I gotta tell them if they even put the fingernail on Santa's little helper to turn them to hamburger helper. Somebody better help them, cause I'm going to jail for showing them fellas helter skelter.
Eating the dog.
Usually I'm content, but if you touch my dog, then I'm turning into John Wick. I'm lit. Bird better drop it. If you touch my pet, then I'm pulling up like CrossFit. Where they said Hello Kitty, but it ain't there. It's right here in your city. When I turn my back, now the cat goes missing and where my peoples is at. Does anybody know where he took with that? Cause I heard they putting claws on felines, I'm mad. And my cat disappeared just like Felix the cat. And they the cat. Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat. Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat.
Drop that cat.
Shout out to Jacoby. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Miss Nisi. I appreciate you. Shout out to my man Fomo Saki right here. Fomo Saki said he's sitting up here plebiscite babbling.
Talentless, scandalous, plebiscite, babbling.
He said that boy plebiscite babbling. He forgot to take his ginkgo biloba this morning.
Talentless, scandalous, plebiscite, babbling.
Oh man, shout out to Rocky America. Rocky America said, nope, FBA keeps showing us white people for Team Trump that you do support Team Trump. No, white people just keep watching what black people doing. Go mind your own business. Right? Did nobody make this show for you to show you anything? You just decided to come here. So if you decided to come here, pay the admission price or you're going to lose your seat. Right? Pay the admission price or lose your seat.
Was just to get the court to say that the lower judges can no longer issue universal injunctions. That's what they were trying to get, because that's what's holding up Trump's agenda, his Project 2025 agenda, his anti-black agenda, his anti-civil rights agenda. That's what was holding it up.
His anti-black agenda, then it switches to the quote-unquote anti-civil rights agenda. Now, here's my question. What all falls under quote-unquote civil rights? But again, nobody is really testing Trump on, well, you're using a DEI argument to justify the ICE raids, right? Because again, the 14th Amendment created DEI in a time when there was no diversity, no equity, and no inclusion in the United States. And it didn't create equity. It just created diversity and inclusion. And honestly, it didn't really create inclusion because people were included, but there was still segregation in Jim Crow. Right? So, there's that. Right? But we'll just act like that wasn't said, right?
And she says, yet shamefully, this court plays along. The majority of this court decides that these applications of all cases provide the appropriate occasion to resolve the question of universal
facts. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said all this weakness talk and never solutions on how black Americans can make some money. Now, I want you to, let me ask y'all this question. This dude is against Bitcoin. He'll say Bitcoin is a scam. Shout out to Shatera. Shatera said, have any Americans lost any rights? Listen, American will lose their life before they lose some rights. Someone will say you got the right to remain silent, and then we'll go ahead and help you be silent, and we'll delete you, right? They'll delete you before they take your right away. How many times have you seen somebody say you got the right to be silent? They don't ever duct tape that person, but they'll put a bullet in you, though. So now we helping you be silent. You know what I'm saying? but they won't take your rights away. Oh man, yeah, I heard it. I heard of the alligator Alcatraz. That's DeSantis's little political move. You know what I'm saying? So that he could get that little chunk of the MAGA votes that he need after he was talking mess about Trump, and Trump put his business out there on Truth Social. He had to fall back in line. You know what I'm saying?
Injunction. And she goes on. Now, if we jump down to the next paragraph, she goes on to say, and this is what I want you to hear very carefully: no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. No right is safe. So we can say as African Americans, we have the right not to be deported because we are citizens. We have birthright citizenship. All right. And it is true. Let me say this. I want to make sure you understand.
This dude, Rocky American, said FBA is helping white people cleanse America of them Mexicans and dark Haitians. I don't know what content you've been looking at, but the majority of those ICE agents, especially along the southern border, are Latino. So if I was you, I would get your brain checked and I would get your eyes checked. I would go see a neurologist and go see an ophthalmologist because you clearly have some cognitive difficulty going on. Shout out to Cameron. Cameron said it's a fake animal farm. Bro, facts. Shout out to Shatira. Shatira says, we aren't worried about being deported, sir. The only time you'll be deported is like if you one of those YouTube streamers like Kai Cenat and you go somewhere you're not supposed to be acting crazy, and then that government like, man, you going back to the United States because you're just ridiculous. You will get deported from another country back to the United States, but you're not getting deported from the United States anywhere. And if you are, show the evidence. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said Rocky comes here every stream saying that. What the hell is a dark Haitian? You know that it's a lot of mixed ancestry Haitians, and they got a colorism issue over there where a lot of them French, majority French, like Mestizo type mulatto Haitians, kind of have an uneven balance of power over there in Haiti. You know what I'm saying? They got situations. They got colorism. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of colorism. A lot of people got a lot of colorism. You know what I'm saying? Calling dark-skinned people that say things that you don't necessarily agree with a tether automatically is a form of colorism that don't nobody talk about. You know what I'm saying?
That birthright citizenship was added to the Constitution because of our enslaved ancestors. That's true. Where Trump is wrong is it doesn't just apply to us. Just like equal protection doesn't just apply to us, or due process doesn't just apply to us. So she says no right is safe in the new legal regime the court creates. So if we say, hey, you can't deport us, in other words, we could say to the ICE agent, you can't deport us, I'm an American citizen. Because
we would never say that because ICE would never, man, this dude's so crazy. They don't even need ICE to deal with us. The police can just come and delete us why would they even use ICE? The police just be coming deleting people. They don't even need to use that layer of law enforcement. What are you talking about? The hell would ICE come knocking at your door? Let me see your papers for. The police can use no-knock warrants and just come in and delete you. What are you talking about? They wouldn't even use ICE to exercise that type of agenda. They already using the local police department, U.S. Marshals and ATF and stuff like that to do that. The DEA. What are you talking about? And they're not deporting people. They're either locking them in prison here in the United States or deleting them. But they're not deporting anybody. When is the last time you seen ICE raid a trap house? And if they do raid a trap house, it's because it's related to the Seminole cartel or something like that. Not because, you know what I'm saying, it's G unit there. What are they talking about? Shout out to Shatira. Shatira said he will make me not care about this. Hey, Rocky, you see this? Your dude right here on the screen, he's the one making people not care about this. So I would ask him about working for Trump if I was you, because he's making people not care. You see, he got my audience tuned out.
Because of this case, they could tell you, shut up, put your hands behind your back. You're arrested, and we're getting ready to deport you. We're putting you on a plane right now.
where, when, and how. They can already do that with the police. The police can say, put your hands behind your back, get in this police car, you're taking you to prison. Nobody's going to say, put your hands behind your back, we're putting you on this plane and sending you to El Salvador, unless you're an undocumented migrant. They don't, like, I'm not going to sit there and say that the United States government don't target us, but they're not targeting us with ICE because they got other agencies already set up to do that within a framework that has nothing to do with immigration. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Mama Zeke. What's good with you, Mama Zeke? Welcome to the stream.
You say, well, how can they do that? Because of this case. And because no judge could issue a nationwide injunction stopping it from happening. So let's say you and 10 of your buddies are hanging out. ICE pulls up on you, and ICE grabs all 10 of you up.
Well, if 10 of your buddies, if you in New York City and 10 of your buddies are Dominican, I mean, you know what I'm saying? They about to, your homies is Trinitarios, they might end up going back. Your homies is Latin Kings, they might end up going back. They might not. They might though. Now, you know what I'm saying? If your family is some Jenkins or some Winslows, some Smiths, you know what I'm saying? You know, they might have an outstanding warrant possibly, or maybe they just getting harassed, but they're not going nowhere. So, you know, unless you on the block and you hanging out with, you know, the terror squad, or, you know what I'm saying, you hanging out with Cypress Hill or something like that, that could be an issue, right? Yeah, they might take your homies in. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got you a Dominicana, you know what I'm saying, or a Boricua, baby mama, something like that, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, you chilling, something happened, might be an issue for her, right? But it's not gonna be an issue for you. It's not gonna be an issue for you. Rocky America said Trump is definitely making America more white again. America has always been extremely white. When has America not been white? When this continent became America, it was a whiteout, and it has been. What world are you living in? I would say a place that's 70% white is extremely white, right? So I don't know where you've been at, but that's how the United States has been. Now, immigration is also making America extremely white. Immigration, right, is making America extremely white. Because all of these people that come in through the United States, these are all groups that U.S. Customs and Immigration Services, through Supreme Court cases, have classified as white. So if we're going to do that, right, if we're going to do that, and you're going to be a race baiter, right, you're going to be a race hustler, right, you're going to be a race hustler, right? We got to tell the truth about the country. When America wasn't white, it wasn't called America. At the moment it was called America, it was and has always been white. I don't know when was America not white? Somebody explain. Somebody let me know when was America not white? So how can you make America white again when it never was not white? I don't understand. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said they so soft, begging for a savior is not a flex. Man up, bro. Facts. If you guys agree with Win Lose a Rug, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Right. Shout out to Black Freethinker. 1491. America was not white post 1491. Right? So I don't know what he talking about. You know what I'm saying?
And put you on the team and put you on the plane and deport you. Okay? No due process, nothing. Just deport you.
Listen, they actually deported. Listen, here in America, right? In America, they put a migrant on a plane that was undocumented. The Democrats didn't like it, right? They came at Trump, and somehow they got the migrant back. So you really think that this application of the law that has never even been tested or applied would happen in mass? What would be the pathway to this? What would be the pathway to this? Somebody just explain the pathway to this and show a live action example of how this works and how this was applied. I would be grateful.
Now, isn't that unlawful? Of course it is. You have certain rights. You have the right to due process. You have the right not to be deported. And by the way, Trump has already said that he is going to deport homegrown criminals anyway, right? But let's say you're not criminals, yet you got grabbed up along with 9 of your buddies. Now what would happen is, let's say one of those 9 or 2 of those 9 file lawsuits. And the judge in those lawsuits said you got to bring those 2 people back. Well, what happens to you?
What homegrown criminals has Trump deported, and where has he deported them to? I mean, I just want to ask you guys, how do you guys like just, you know what I'm saying, being talked to like you're just completely defenseless and you're not capable of anything? Do you like that? People must like that because this guy has about 100,000 times the amount of subscribers that I have. So clearly it's a popular position, right? That's inarguable. It's clearly a popular position. I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you can stay. Trump can keep you over there, although it's unlawful, because the judge cannot issue a nationwide.
Hey, shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen for funding the organization. Definitely appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
And again, what has he said that can be matched up with a actual situation and can say this is a legitimate argument, and here's where this argument has been applied. This Black American was deported on this basis to this country based on this ruling. This Black American has been deported on this case on this ruling, and this Black American has been deported on this case in this ruling. There's none. There's none.
Wide injunction that covers the other 8 of you or 9 of you. So it would be unlawful, but it can be done because that nationwide injunction can't be used to help you. You say, well, then my family can file a lawsuit or we can do a class.
This is what he's basically saying is that malpractice laws can be used against you. Anybody can be convicted of malpractice. Everybody, all 29 people in the chat, you guys are all vulnerable and you can go to jail for malpractice. Only if you're a professional. Only if you have a certification to do something that has a quality standard behind it. If you're a grocery store cashier, you can't go to jail for malpractice because there's no malpractice involved in your career. You can't be prosecuted for immigration law if there's no immigration in your timeline. If this is true, give me a thumbs up. If this is not true, give me a thumbs down. And again, if my arguments are incorrect, show me examples of all of the arguments that he's making.
Class action lawsuit, you're right, you can. But you're already deported. And to get that class action lawsuit certified may take months, years maybe. To get your case in front of a judge may take much more time than you want to be spending somewhere.
Your case would immediately get thrown out. Your case wouldn't even go in front of a judge. This wouldn't even this hasn't happened and wouldn't happen, which is why it hasn't happened. Shout out to Black Freethinker. Black Freethinker said this old ninja is committing malpractice with this Babel channel. Hey, if y'all agree with Black Freethinker, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, the ethical basis of this video should be questioned. And you definitely got a point.
So this is not fear mongering. I'm telling you where we are. She said no right is safe in the.
If you have to come out and say this is not fear mongering, you're saying that because you know that you've been fear mongering. So you have to reinforce. I just want to reinforce. I'm not doing what I'm doing. I know you see me doing what I'm doing. I just want to confirm with you that I'm not doing what I'm doing while I'm doing it. It's ridiculous.
New legal regime the court creates that also includes civil rights. The Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act, the Fair Housing Act. None of it, she says, is safe with what SCOTUS has given the Trump administration. Let's keep reading. Today, the threat is birthright citizenship. So she's trying to say that's the issue today, but tomorrow it could be deporting Black Americans or whatever. Tomorrow, a different administration.
Tomorrow it could be deporting Black. How would it get? What would be the pathway to getting to deporting Black Americans? Under what basis? What would be the case for that? What would be the case for deporting Black Americans under a law that was made for the situation that created the ethnicity of Black American? Like, again, this is someone who has a Juris Doctorate and an active law practice.
Administration may try to seize firearms from law-abiding citizens or prevent people of certain faiths from gathering to worship. She says the majority holds that, absent cumbersome class action litigation, courts cannot completely enjoin even such plainly unlawful policies, unless doing so is necessary to afford the former parties complete relief. So she's saying that the majority allows Trump to do even what's unlawful because it took away from those judges the ability to stop Trump on a nationwide basis, even if what he's doing is unlawful. Now, if you're named in the lawsuit in court A, fine, then you can get relief. You can get the remedy. But if you're not named in that lawsuit, you got to file your own.
Which means that there's still a way to deal with it. Right? Like, you just spent 16 minutes saying that there's no way to deal with it while just telling us how to deal with it. Again, he just destroyed his own argument. Shout out to PJ Allen. What's good with it, bro? I mean, like, I'm not trying to be funny, man, but this dude, like, he keeps destroying his own arguments. Ain't no way you could deal with this. All you got to do is just file a lawsuit, but ain't no way you could deal with it, though. There's still a way to appeal these things if you have a disagreement. And again, it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, you know, as far as it goes with him, people only do what they're allowed to do. So when you see this persist, and when you see this with 200,000 subscribers, there can be no other conclusion come to other than this is what people want. This is what people believe, and that's it until the data changes, right? That's just what it is. Okay. So that's just what it is.
Is necessary to afford the former parties complete relief. So she's saying that the majority allows Trump to do even what's unlawful because it took away from those judges the ability to stop Trump on a nationwide basis, even if what he's doing is unlawful. Now, if you're named in the lawsuit,
so they can file class action lawsuits and use their state authority to deal with whatever thing that they don't agree with. Like that can happen too, as he's about to say. So then if that can happen, how is it that there's no way to deal with this? It might complicate the process, right? It might make it a little bit more difficult, but there's still a way to deal with it, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, so I want you guys to understand, right? Shout out to MC Fact. MC Fact said this dude is fear-mongering. It's crazy that he's supposed to be a lawyer. He's supposed to be a lawyer. He's supposed to be ethical. He's bound by a code. You know what I'm saying? He took the bar exam. He's supposed to be an agent of his plaintiffs. Well, this is just wild. Shout out to Mr. Mac. Mr. Mac says Robb is jealous of this lawyer guy, so he makes a video trying to hate on him by taking up for Trump. First of all, I'm not hating on this dude. I said in the beginning of the video, I'm being as respectful as possible, and I'm simply attacking the ideas and not attacking this individual, right? I haven't said anything disrespectful about this dude. I don't agree with his position. I don't know this man. In his mind, he might be doing what he thinks is right. I don't know. I haven't seen any emails. I haven't seen no evidence of anything. So I'm not saying any of that. I just disagree with his position. Now, as far as jealous of him, yeah, I'm absolutely jealous of him. Yeah, sure. I'm jealous that he's got a lot of subscribers. You know what I'm saying? I'm jealous that he has a patterned bald head. And unfortunately, I have a lush, thick, black fro that is tied beautifully into stitch braids. You know what I'm saying? I'm extremely jealous. I'd rather definitely have the shines on top of my head, you know, but we all people can't be all things, right? So, he got a lot on me. He definitely got a lot on me, but I'm working. I'm trying to get there, right? At least it's not hating without effort behind it, right? I'm putting my work in. I try to stress myself out every day. You know what I'm saying? So I can get the top of my head looking like that. I'm already catching up with him with the grays and the beards. He got a lot more going than me. And I'm just trying to get where he at. I just don't agree with this particular position. You feel me?
in court A, fine. Then you can get relief. You can get the remedy. But if you're not named in that lawsuit, you got to file your own.
Look,
and if it's
shout out to Shatera. People that know you for a long time always put your business out. You know what I'm saying? She told on me about the comb over and the finger waves. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Yeah. I don't know. He got the top down like a convertible. You know what I'm saying? They should call him the convertible lawyer. Shout out to Shatera. Hey, it's all good, man. Don't be telling people about my comb over though. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep that pimp look alive. Yeah, he got the top down. You know what I'm saying? He got Smurf hanging out the sunroof. You know what I'm saying?
something that affects millions of people, those people got to either do a class action or all of them got to file lawsuits. Meanwhile, Trump's unlawful policy is still in effect. Because again, all that could take months or years. This is not fear-mongering. This is where we are. Justice Jackson.
Yeah, and where we are isn't watching this video in an ICE detention center. None of us are doing that. None of us are watching this video from destination deportation. None of us are watching this video from Alligator Alcatraz. You know what I mean? So there's that.
The African-American woman who's on the court, she said, make no mistake, today's ruling allows the executive to deny people rights that word rights again, that the founders plainly wrote it.
So again, right? I don't understand how you get people like this. If you got a problem with Black Alpha or you got a problem with Tariq Nasheed, don't you think that you should be in their chat addressing them, saying it? And I'm gonna tell you something about Sambo. Sambo is a fictional character, and that terminology is outdated. And no one's gonna stop saying anything that you don't like just because you throw the word Sambo around. You've been invited multiple times to say whatever disagreement that you have to my face. And you know what I haven't seen ever? Your face. Okay? I'm just saying.
To our Constitution. And just like Justice Sotomayor, she said,
shout out to the YouTube community, right? People out here getting deleted on YouTube, man. You heard about that situation that happened between what's the dude named Finney the God and Sin City Manny? Sin City Manny? I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? It's really not that deep. It's really not that deep. Now, this is a dude in a chat with a bunch of people that didn't vote for Trump crying about Trump supporters. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember, did y'all see that short where YouTube was talking about that Jimmy the Henchman dude? And he was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce actual tough ninjas to Jimmy the Henchman. I'm going to introduce actual tough people to people who act tough. That's all I'm doing. I'm just being a broker, right? So my thing is, Mr. Mac, I don't want no smoke, right? I don't want no smoke. But since you seem to want some smoke, I can introduce you to people who actually smoke. Since that's what you're looking for. Is that what you want? I'm just saying. I don't understand.
So long as those individuals have not found a lawyer or asked the court in a particular manner to have their rights protected. And you're not in a situation, if you get deported or something, you're not in a situation to do or say anything. You sitting over in Sudan or something. And again, it doesn't matter.
Okay, shout out to everybody in the comment section. I know I don't have like mad people in the comment section, you know. But to the people that are in the comment section, Sudanese people excluded. Shout out to Myron Gaines, right? How many people are watching this after being deported to Sudan? If you are, give me a thumbs up. If you are not, give me a thumbs down.
Trump incorrectly stated the law when he says that birthright citizenship applies only to the babies of slaves. And by the way, none of us are babies of slaves. Have you thought about that? None of us. No one living today.
How did slavery affect anyone alive today? And this dude in the comment section called me the Sambo. Nobody alive is a baby of a slave. Thundercats, ho! Got him. All you got to do is just wait.
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real. Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Tie this bitch up!
Swing the remix gone!
I'll tear this bitch up! Tie this bitch up! I will! Tie this bitch up! I will! Tie this bitch up! I'll tear this bitch up!
Oh.
I'm the king of the world. You will bow down, bitches.
I'm an old Mac from way back. One of the original players from the Himalaya.
I don't think you've changed a thing. Go on, jump. No, I don't want to jump.
Yes, you do. You smoke crack, don't you?
I've got morons on my team.
Morons! I have morons on my payroll! Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots! You did it! I'm going to tell on you!
What kind of shit is that?
Just like a woman. That's because some of you niggas, you be acting just like a woman. Nigga Reaper keep it 1,000. He going along with the fuck shit. Don't touch me. I'm about to change on your ass. I'll beat your ass with my elbows. Werewolf style.
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Nobody alive today is the baby of a slave. Duh. But what was the point of you saying that? So if nobody alive today is the baby of a slave, again, how is this law relevant? Because the law was made to address former slaves and their children. How's the law relevant then? Clearly something updated to deal with immigration needs to be made, right? So again, he just destroyed his own argument. He just destroyed his own argument. Shout out to Run and Get Somebody Culture. I'm going to get my homie Afro Think Tank on YouTube to make a video about this channel. He does a great job making videos exposing FBA Sambos. Like I said, you want me to introduce you to some people that want smoke? I don't agree with all the Afro Think Tank's views, but I don't have not one issue with that brother. Not one. And you a weirdo trying to create your own YouTube, your own YouTube entertainment. I'm not the YouTube intellectual that tells black people what they got to do and all that. I don't do none of that, bro. And I'm also not with no back and forth stuff. And I also play for real. So the only thing you gonna do is if you try to send somebody after me or something like that, you just gonna mess around and bring somebody a whole bunch of problems that they don't need. And then they're gonna be looking at you like you crazy. They're gonna be looking at you like you crazy. Because they're gonna be like, why is these cars driving in front of my house? Why are these dudes standing outside? You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Or do it. You know what I'm saying? or do it. If you think I'm scared, shout out to Kid Gravity. What's good with it, bro? If you think I'm scared of a YouTuber or any YouTuber, you need to stop what you're doing right now and go start a career as a comedian. You need to stop what you're doing and start a career as a comedian, bro. For real. You know what I'm saying? Go make other people laugh because you did a great job making me laugh.
That the founders plainly wrote into our Constitution.
As a matter of fact, go get everybody to make a video about my channel. Go get everybody to make a video about my channel. So you could do me the biggest favor in the world and get everybody watching my videos and get that algorithm activated. Go ahead. Go get everybody to make videos about my channel. Because shout out to Afro Think Tank. He been getting a lot of people watching his videos, man. The channel he been putting it down. He been blowing his channel up. He been doing his thing. But he seems like a Very intelligent, well thought out, well articulated dude. And although I don't agree with all of his takes, I highly doubt that he would take his time to address a channel that has never disrespected him in any way. I think he's a lot smarter than that, like most people are. And I really don't think that he would appreciate you thinking that he's just your tool for entertainment. That's a dude that's actually on a mission. He's trying to do something with his message. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB. AB said, bro, I wish I could tell you. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could tell you. He never ever. That dude, Mac never has to push too hard when he sits down on the toilet. You know what I'm saying?
Why are you gay?
He never has to push too hard when he sits down on the toilet. It just be falling out of him like Sonic rings. I wonder why.
Just like Justice Sotomayor, she said, so long as those individuals have not found a lawyer or asked the court in a particular manner to have their rights protected. And you're not in a situation, if you get deported or something, you're not in a situation to do or say anything. You sitting over in Sudan or something. And again, it doesn't matter that Trump incorrectly stated the law when he says that birthright citizenship applies only to the babies of slaves. And by the way, none of us are babies of slaves. Have you thought about that? None of us. No one living today is a baby of a slave.
I am under the impression that everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my dad. My dad worked at, not as a slave, you know what I'm saying, GE for a long time. Oh man, right. Shout out to AB. He gonna tell. He gonna go tell. You know what I'm saying? He about to tell.
You cheated! I'm going to tell on you!
He cheated. He's going to tell on me. You know what I'm saying? He's going to tell on me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's like the most corny thing that you could, especially as a man. As a man, bro, you gonna like, it's a difference if, you know what I'm saying, you a female, you go get your brother or something like that, somebody messing with you. You know what I'm saying? You're a male. You're a male. You know what I'm saying? I hurt your little jelly feelings. You know what I'm saying? And the dude be making troll accounts of other people's channels. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you a weird dude, man. You a weird dude. You be having conversations with yourself. Now you got one troll account dissing the other troll account. You having a whole beef session with your troll accounts. Like, you got all kind of problems, bro. Go take your lithium. Get offline and go take your lithium. You know what I'm saying? Look, shout out to DeAndre. DeAndre said, Rob, he go get his big brother because you bullied him in the chat. The trolls don't know. It's a troll that's streaming right now, bro. I'm a troll. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna come and troll a troll. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna come here and you're gonna get embarrassed and you're gonna make a video talking wild about me on that channel that don't nobody watch. And then you're gonna talk all kind of tough and be as invisible as air. You know what I'm saying? Do y'all remember when he was in the chat and he was like, I'm in Columbus right now. Come see me. I'm like, bet, I'm off work today. It's only an hour from where I'm at. Come holler, come through. Come holler at your boy. You know what I'm saying? Come see me on the home turf. You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody show up. Like, come on, man. I don't bother anybody on YouTube, man. Like I said, man, I ain't got no problem with this defiant lawyer fella. You know what I'm saying? I said a few light jokes, but I have no problem with this dude. I don't agree with his take on this. I didn't disrespect him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't call him all kind of names and none of that. I'm disappointed in his position. You know what I'm saying? And he's and the dude in the chat is more offended than the person that I'm actually critiquing. That's why them turds be falling out you like that. You done permanently got yourself unconstipated, man. Man up, boy. Man up. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you go, raining drip drop.
Why are you gay?
So technically, that really doesn't apply to any of us. If that is true, that birthright citizenship only applies to babies of slaves, none of us are citizens, not even white people. So you know that's an inaccurate statement. In the 14th Amendment itself, the citizenship clause literally said.
Shout out to Intuitively Wise. Intuitively Wise says you shouldn't waste your time with the foolishness. If you ask me, I believe that dealing with foolishness is not wasting time. I believe that foolishness needs to be destroyed. And foolishness needs to be publicly destroyed and made an example of, so that people don't try to engage in those behaviors in the future. Those people have to be put on display for everybody to see as a constant reminder of what not to do. You know what I'm saying? And people, quote unquote, ignoring things or taking the high road. There's no such thing as taking the high road. There's no such thing as taking the high road. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as taking the high road. You gotta deal with it right when it comes.
Persons born in this country or nationalized and are subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens. So again, for his position on this, where is the example of the law being utilized in this way? Is my question. If you ask me, the utilization of this law to branch off into all different directions like abortion and all different directions like LGBTQ marriage and all of that, you know, that right there is the pollution of the law. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all would disagree, give me a thumbs down. I hope you understand now. This case was horrible. It went way beyond immigration. It went way beyond the Latino community. As you just read, I'm going to show it to you again. As you just read, Justice Sotomayor says no right is safe. And Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson says, make no mistake, today's rulings allows the executive to deny people rights that the founders plainly wrote into our Constitution. So if you're saying, I got the right not to be deported, that's no longer safe, folks, because of this case.
We would have to see an application of that for that to be true. Where is the application of that? Shout out to Leonard DeUter. Leonard DeUter said Robb has a stalker. How cute. Nah, Robb the wrong person to stalk. You stalk Robb, and Robb gonna be behind you one day. Robb gonna be behind you and tap your shoulder one day. Hey. Hey. You was looking for me?
So again, yes, African Americans can be deported. Even those who are descendants of enslaved Africans in this country.
Now, shout out to MC Fact. MC Fact said off topic, Diddy got off. Okay, back to the show. Now, are you talking about before or after trial? Are you talking about at the freak offs or are you talking about at the trial?
That's where we are. That's what we get for this nation reelecting Trump. And don't forget, and I won't let you forget, 2.5 million African Americans voted for his reelection.
And what is that number in comparison to the amount of African Americans, quote unquote, that voted for Kamala Harris? shout out to Win Lose the Rug. Win Lose the Rug said, popping up on the stalker is savage. Yeah, bro, don't play no games with me. I'll be them tapped you on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? I'll be them tapped you on your shoulder. Your pants will change color. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing with me.
And millions more didn't even care to vote. So Project 2025 is in full effect. The GOP is backing everything he does. So neither branch of the government is doing anything to stop him. Congress? Nope. The courts? Nope.
So he just threw the Democrats, he just was quoting Ketanji Brown Jackson, and he was quoting Justice Sotomayor, and they were clearly against what Trump said and did, clearly against it. That's not good enough, though. He said that nobody's doing anything about it. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. What's good with it, bro? AB said definitely have to freak off. Now, here go the thing with the Diddy case, right? And we got another video that we got to watch, but we're going to have to do a part 2 of this. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to get going real quick. But I just want to say this about the Diddy trial. Diddy didn't human traffic anybody. Diddy is a degenerate freak. You know what I'm saying? But being a degenerate freak is not illegal. Just because somebody has an entire room in their mansion full of baby oil, that's not a prosecutable offense. And that was the biggest thing that they had to talk about as far as Diddy. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, what were they going to prosecute him on? Who was trafficked? The RICO statute doesn't mean using your business to have a odd fetish enterprise, right? It means using your organization to foster criminal activity, and there was no evidence of that. Now, he definitely used his enterprise to be a odd freak. You know what I'm saying? To do a lot of strange things that I don't think most people would do, or things that most people wouldn't brag about doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think most people would do that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, I this is kind of what I expected. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of what I expected. So yeah, man, we'll be back tomorrow. All right. We'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow we're gonna talk about this other lawyer that talked about the birthright citizenship, and I thought it was interesting. Okay. So I want to shout out to stream sponsors. All right. Shout out to the stream sponsors. Shout out to Catsy. I appreciate you. Please make sure y'all show these people love. Shout out to Carlton Way. Make sure y'all show my man Carlton some love. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to my man AB, Fomo Saki. I definitely appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show my man Fomo Saki some love. Shout out to AB. Make sure y'all show him some love again. Shout out to DSB. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show DSB some love again. All right. Shout out to my man Black Free Thinker. Definitely appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Black Free Thinker again. Shout out to Black Free Thinker again. Shout out to my man Kiko. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to Miss Niecy. Make sure y'all show Miss Niecy some love for the dime. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to my man AB again. And shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Definitely appreciate y'all, man. Y'all be taking care of your boy. It's like running credits at the end. You know the haters be mad. They're gonna get people on me. You better get the best one. You know what I'm saying? And as always, ladies and gentlemen,